So welcome to the first Republican Breakfast Club. It's called the Sierra Republican Breakfast Club. It's on the 5th. It's going to be hosted by Ray Rocha, and PK O'Neill is probably be the very first speaker, and he's been chosen to be the very first person to kick off a new club. PK, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate this time to be with you and to be with you again on the 5th. I'm looking forward to a good breakfast and good conversation.
So what are you going to talk about?
I'd like to talk about some of the health bills that the Democrats passed in this last session and what they didn't do in health bills and how disingenuous they are in saying that they care about the health in Nevada. I really believe that we can prove that they don't care. What they care about is just being their own agenda of socialism.
Very good. So we're going to bring Republicans out here to speak, to listen, and to talk. And why do you think we need to get people out and active in the Republican Party right now?
We need to get people active. We need to get the Republicans active, get them educated, so then it's like Christ in religion, so they can go forth and multiply the numbers, because come November of 2022, we're going to need every single one of them to get down to the polls, bring their friends to the polls, and have them vote so we can reclaim Nevada as a Republican state and get good bills passed and do away with some of this ridiculous things that have been happened in the last session, such as the voting bill, such as some health care bills, and several others.
So one question you're going to be asked is, what is the worst thing that the Democrats did in this last session? So don't tell us everything, but what is one thing, not the worst thing, but one thing that they did that you didn't like?
Oh, that's going to be a tough answer to come up with. But, one of the things I really didn't like was the SB 420 was the health care bill that they ramrodded down our throats in just the closing moments of session. And to me, the disingenuous part when they say how they care and what this bill is really going to do for healthcare providers and the community as a whole. That would be one of my first things I'd like to talk about.
So come to the breakfast, hear the rest of the story from PK, and we do have other questions. I'm going to ask specifically, one of the questions is going to be about the voting system in Nevada. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly? Because he did get elected with an all mail-in vote, didn't you?
Well, there were people at the polls, too. But yeah, it was under AB4 of the 32nd special session that they passed, they being the Democrats, passed the horrendous voting bill and then solidified it back during this last session with AB 320. And what we need to address it, how to deal with it, and then hopefully we get the majorities back and then do away with it and get back to true voting integrity.
So if you have a question you want to ask PK, come to the meeting, but better yet, go to the bottom of this video and leave a comment or a question, and we'll get that to him. Thanks, PK. Look forward to seeing you on the 5th.
Thank you, Bill. I look forward to seeing you all on the 5th and several meetings after that as we get towards Election Day.
Thanks
I
again.
appreciate the time. Thank you.